Get ready for the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
This is Daniel Smith from Jets Guru. Welcome to the show. All gas, no brakes. Let's go, Jets. Woo!
See in Pittsburgh. Can't wait.
Let's make sure we play like the New York Jets.
What's going on, Jets Nation? CJ the Painkiller D. Simone here, and you are watching Jets Guru. Now, give it up for your host, Mr. Daniel Smith!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Jets Guru Halloween edition. 4 in a row. We put Pittsburgh in the grave. We put Miami in the grave. We put the Packers in the grave. And this past Sunday, we put the Broncos in the grave for the dagger. And it wasn't all pretty. We lost some linemen. We lost some running backs. Zach Wilson didn't look all that great. But you know what? That is how you go out and you win football games. And the Jets are learning how to win football games a year early, mind you. And they're doing it the right way. Defense, they're not turning the ball over. They're creating turnovers. Their defense is getting better every game. Their secondary is getting more cohesive every single game. The GM is going out and making trades to fill holes so he doesn't overexpose his quarterback. This is an organization that 2 or 3 years ago, you would have told me at this point would have looked like this with this much depth and this much young talent. I wouldn't have believed you. But Joe Douglas has done a masterful job, absolutely masterful job. And you have to just sit and wonder, where does this guy start to rank in the organization as far as where GMs are placed? Because he's doing things that you think would be so easy to do, that your guy goes down, you make a move. This happens, you make a move. Do you think we'll trade for an old lineman, Scott says? I don't know. Probably not, because it's harder to get offensive linemen at this stage in the game. Unfortunately, you're just picking up bodies. And that's all right, because he's doing that too. So I am just so happy as a Jet fan, and so should you guys. We'll get into the Zach Wilson struggles later in the show, but appreciates what's happening right now. How many games did the Jets go just to get 2 in a row? And we're 4 in a row, 5-2, one of the better teams in the AFC right now. And if you would have told me right now the Jets would be legitimately sitting at 5-2, right around the 8-game point, I can't believe it. I really, really can't. If the Jets win 2 more games in the season, you're talking about a 7-win season with all the injuries to the offensive line, still in your second year. I would still be happy with that. But you know what? I think the Jets have a little bit something more in them. So let's bring Kevin in to talk about this 4 in a row, because I know he's excited. Kevin, I mean, 4 in a row, Road Warriors coming out here beating teams. I mean, on October going into this Halloween game, could you have pictured an any better start? Rookies emerging and everything, man. What do you think about this Jets start to the season as we go into our 8th game of the NFL season against the Patriots at home?
I think, just in the comments, they said the season could have blown up in their face when Becton went down. Dude, Becton didn't just go down. Becton and Fant went down. So you lost your left tackle and your right tackle, right? Like right out the gate. How many teams can survive losing both offensive tackles, right? And then Max Mitchell came in and we signed Dwayne Brown. We lost Dwayne Brown. We lost Max Mitchell. The Jets have lost 4 starting tackles. So it's been amazing. I mean, it's been amazing. And what we've been looking for since we started this show is a couple different things. One, complementary football, where the special teams, defense, and offense kind of all help each other out and complement each other. We've seen games this year and very not Jet-like where we have an interception, a lost fumble, block kicks we talked about last week, and the defense stepped on the field and picked up the special teams or picked up the offense and pitched a shutout, had the team go 3 and out and have to punt right after a turnover. And we've seen the special teams when we haven't been able to punch it in or we just get down to the 1-yard line, like our kicker has been automatic, right? Literally automatic, like clutch, right? Special teams, recovering onside kicks, all the things, and then offense scoring just enough, right? And having bursts to pull the game away when we do get interceptions. We are converting, scoring points, not turning it over in the red zone. It's now been 13 quarters since we had a turnover. 13 quarters. Isn't doing, but what the offense isn't doing isn't losing the game, isn't setting up our defense and special teams to have bad moments and capitalizing when they need to. Even in a bad offensive week where we scored 16 points, it was the most points the Denver Broncos allowed at home for the entire season. No team in the NFL has scored 16 points in Denver this whole year. 16 is now the high. And, the Jets got to continue to feed off each other, all the different units. For such a young team, it's been a very mature team. And what's going to end up happening is right now the defense is carrying games. And long term, we'll get into Zach Wilson. But there's going to be games where the offense is going to have to score. They're going to have to score because the defense isn't perfect like it is right now. And we're going to have to be able to flip the switch and score points when we need to score points. And it's going to be interesting to see as the season goes on if the Jets reach that point too.
Absolutely. And I really think we do have to give it up to special teams. It's something we've been frustrated with for years now. And just to have a kicker this consistent, if a drive is going to get stalled out somewhere along the line, Greg is 50 plus, that he can get you one. It just kind of takes the pressure off the offense a little bit. And as you could see in this Denver game, those 3 points stack, and it could be the difference between you winning and losing. And so I really enjoy that. Yeah, Braden Mann, he had a 52, 53 average on his punt. I think he's played very well throughout this season. The penalties, Thomas, you are 100% right, need to get cleaned up because when you start playing some of these better teams, when you start getting down towards the end of the season and you start knowing what teams are good, what teams are bad, these little things are going to matter. It really, really is. And it's one of those things where it's just bonehead stuff I've been seeing. Just the extra hits and shoves into the quarterbacks and different things like that, holding on to guys. And they're always at the worst possible time. So the Jets are already struggling, like you said, Kevin, on offense. Going into this game, it's just been really, really tough throwing the football. But one thing I would like people to remember is, yes, this is where I thought Zach Wilson struggled in the last game. In the last game, he struggled with his accuracy. His ball placement was absolutely awful. It was all over the place, even on throws that were clean, even when he had full target recognition. It just was off. But he has played one of the 2 best secondaries in the league back-to-back weeks. And it does matter. We can't come out here and say that Sauce Gardner and Reed and all these guys are shutting down people without recognizing teams that they actually shut down. And it happens to be that quarterbacks get shut down when we play them. Same thing happens on the other side for a lot of these teams. You look at some of the defenses. I mean, Justin Herbert struggled against the Packers defense or the Broncos defense. All these guys struggle this year against these defenses, just like every team is struggling against us. I don't think we've allowed more than 100 yards, 120 yards, or 25 yards a game, something like that in the receiving department for one individual. It's just We're having an absolutely stellar season. You're talking about possible rookie of the year. You're talking about the best tandem in the NFL right now. You're talking about an emerging Joyner and Whitehead that could play together and are communicating well now. This is a different type of a defense now. And now that you have the secondary the way it's playing, I feel like the front four have really taken it upon themselves in the rotation to really get after the quarterback, including Quinnen Williams, who's been just a playmaker. I mean, I saw a stat the other day where he has as many touches on the quarterback as Myles Garrett, and he's coming on the inside. Guys, this is not easy, and this is coming with doubles, and he's finding a way to affect the game and on his pace, and that's why he was brought here, and that's what they were so intrigued by and what they saw in Alabama, and now he's finally becoming into his own, and you got to really give it to the Jets. He didn't come out. He wasn't on fire right away. They still stuck with him. They knew it was there. They knew they needed to add more around him. They knew they needed a different defensive philosophy, and it seems like it's starting to work. The defensive line is responding in such a way where this is what we bought. We bought Saleh here was for his defensive line, for his defense. And I'm very, very happy that they're finally showing out. And each and every week, they are climbing and being one of the best defenses in the NFL. But with that being said, we got a special guest. We got New York Jets Fan of the Year. JR, go ahead and bring her on, and please introduce yourself.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me tonight. My name is Liz Muller, and yes, I am the 2021 New York Jets Fan of the Year. It's been an incredible year, and I can't say enough. And I think that my luck and my passion and everything is really helping out with the team. I just feel that it's just bringing me some luck and bringing my Jets luck.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that it's all this energy that we're bringing to the stadium this year. I do feel like more than anything, Jet fans, we have the longest playoff drought in the entire NFL, and it's not even close. I mean, the last time the Jets were in the playoffs, I say it all the time, I was a completely different person. My kid wasn't born. I was living in a different state. I worked a completely different career. You might as well say I lived a different life as the last time the Jets were in the playoffs. And they want a winner. And I think that's why everyone is so antsy about the quarterback and the head coach and everything. But guys, this is what makes it fun. Because when you're inauthentic and you root for them when they're good and you just complain the whole time, but you really don't give it your all. And when these good times come, I know deep down inside of you got to know you're a little bit of a phony. Don't give me, oh, well, I've been watching since the 50s. I've been watching since the 60s. All this time, I've been watching since the 70s. My dad, he walked barefoot. He's the one that came up with the New York Jets. He gave the idea to the NFL. All this stuff, it doesn't matter if you're not coming with full passion to the game. And I think that's what you bring. I think that's what Kevin brings. I think that's what El Chapo and Euros and all these people I see out there, Michelle, like everyone, Simon. It's really, really a wonderful thing to see fans coming out. Can you tell us a little bit about what got you into the New York Jets? Who gave you the passion to love the New York Jets?
Okay, I'm going to say just what you were saying. My dad was a huge Giants fan, but I was so adamant when I was 8 years old that I wanted to be different. I didn't want to be like everybody else in my family. I wanted to be a Jets fan, and I started with me liking the colors when I was 8 years old, and I've gone to Shea Stadium. I've been a season ticket holder with my dad for many years, and then the guy I met and married and had 3 daughters with was also a huge Jets fan. And we never missed a game. We watched every game together, went to as many as we can, and he passed away young. So I continued with my passion. My girls love the Jets, and I worked at MetLife Field for 3 years just so I could be at all the games. And now for the last 3 years, I've been a season ticket holder myself. So I've been bringing this passion. If you do the math, since I'm 8 years old and I'm 59. So it's been a long time. And I'm telling you, the Fan of the Year thing has been absolutely the icing on the cake. And And it just brings me closer to loving this team, the organization, the NFL. They treated me like gold this year. They literally did.
So there's no excuse then for any fan because you've been watching them for a long time and you still come out with full passion and you're still optimistic every year because you know there's that opportunity.
Absolutely. And now with watching the games, how much do you say to yourself, well, they're drilling it into our heads about how awesome the Jets are in the fourth quarter. And you just automatically know if they're not playing up to snuff by halftime, you know, no problem. By the fourth quarter, we're going to be kicking some ass because they just are a fourth quarter team lately. They really are. And Zach, this kid is young and he's mighty and he is powerful, and I don't think he learns every game. I think he learns every play. His mind is just a sponge, just taking it all in. And every play he just gets better and better and better. So I'm just devastated after the injuries this past week, but you know what, look at our GM coming in. All right, we're going to bring Robinson in, going to fill that hole. And I just have really, really, really positive thoughts for this coming weekend. I really do. It's going to be something for the record books.
Well, going back to what you said about attending the games for so long, what were some of your favorite games or some of your favorite moments that you were there live to see?
I'm a huge Wayne Corbett fan. Monday Night Miracle. Holy smokes. Watching Namath play when I was a kid. Then remembering his pantyhose commercials, and then watching the sack exchange. I mean, there's so many games. I could list 100 games that were just my favorites, memories. I will not get to that stadium, I'm there way before it starts, and I never leave until way after it's over. They practically have to drag me out of there. I just love every bit of it. Every game to me is an awesome game because I'm so blessed to be there.
Absolutely.
Well, that's tremendous. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Thanks.
So how did you get into the fan of the year? Did you put your your name in the hat, or did someone do it for you? Like, how did that? And then just tell us about the whole process.
My youngest daughter Taylor nominated me. As I said, I raised my girls from when they were 10, 12, and 14. Their dad died suddenly of a heart attack when he was 43. My passion for the team, I do a lot of dog rescue. I volunteer with 4 different animal rescues. I am a police 911 dispatcher, and I volunteered on my first aid squad for 12 years. And it just seemed like I fit the bill for everything they were looking for. A passion for the team, a love of the sport, a love for the Jets, and just community service. And I was brought to the practice facility in Florham Park October 8th of last year. And I was there just thinking I was a finalist. And then all of a sudden, I'm standing on the practice field looking at the Ring of Honor wall. And all of a sudden, somebody came up behind me. And it's Wayne Corbett, my all-time favorite player. And he looked at me and he said, Liz, he started telling me about me. And I looked at my daughter and I said, am I dying? Like, this is a dream come true. What's happening? And Wayne said, we like your passion for the Jets. We like your community service. And I'm here to tell you, you are our fan of the year. I went all expense paid trip to the Super Bowl. I went all expense paid trip to the NFL draft. And I'm a huge Ohio State Buckeyes fan. And when they came to get me and told me, you're going to be bringing the jersey out to the commissioner on stage, and it was Garrett Wilson, I was like, this is it.
There you go.
I could die now. It was absolutely a life-changing experience. It's been incredible, and it's still going. I see people all the time and go, weren't you on the stage at the draft? I mean, I'm recognized, and I don't need any of that. I just want my team to do so great, but it's just the Jets and the NFL and Captain Morgan, the sponsor of it, was just phenomenal. I had Victor Cruz at my house for 8 hours one day doing a promo for Captain Morgan. And it's just been a life-changing experience and the most fun I could ever have. Incredible.
That's awesome, and that's amazing. Tell me how you got started with the Wayne Corbett page and how you got that going.
Yes, so every time he he calls me his stalker. Every time Wayne is at an event, I'm there. And I just wrote him a letter and I said, Wayne, I've been a fan of yours forever. I own 8 footballs autographed by him and 7 jerseys autographed by him. And I wrote him a letter and I just said, I would love to start your fan club page. Could I do that? And in 6 months, it's about 1,200 and something members on it, and it's really growing, and people are excited, and they get to go to MetLife to the game, and then go over to the mall afterwards and meet him. And he's just one of the greatest people I've ever met. He really is. He's passionate about the sport, but he's passionate about meeting his fans and giving back. You can go there to the mall after a game and for nothing, and he'll take pictures. He'll sit and talk with you. He'll sign whatever you want, and he's just a great guy, really great guy. So I wanted to do that for him, and it's flourishing.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. I think with the Jets, it's kind of like we haven't had a lot of playoff success. Obviously, only one Super Bowl. That was a long time ago. So I feel like some of our players don't get the shine that other, legends of other franchises, have. If the Jets had won a Super Bowl in '98, beat the 98, 99, beat the Broncos, and went to the Super Bowl, beat the Falcons, I guarantee you there'd be a line out the door for some of these guys. And it's unfortunate because I think at one point or the other, you should go to one of these events, meet some of the legends. I know Wayne, for most fans that are in our age group and even beyond, just his toughness, the way he played football. I always remember him at so many times not wearing the gloves, just going out there playing old school. No, no pads, no this, no weird tape. It was just a guy out there playing football. And obviously, he's not like 4 foot tall, but he always seemed like a smaller guy. So for some of the shorter guys that were out there, we're always like, look at Wayne, man, he's running out there. We can all run out there and do it, but if you actually meet him in person, or you see him in person, he's bigger than what you think, guys. It's TV. But it's just, he to me defined what it is to be a tough inside slot type of a receiver, a guy that can go and get you the ball over the middle, catch everything, pretty much, and just be a pro's pro. And he was very productive too, at a time where that position and how he was used. I mean, I think Wayne is not as fast as Braxton Berrios, but he could have did a lot of those different things that were done. And have different options of being able to play and get receptions and score. But he played in a traditional running defense type of a league. And I just think that he put up good stats as a Jet. And I had actually conversations with people back and forth. And I'm like, look at where Wayne places in Jets history. You can't find really a better receiver, more consistent. Keyshawn Johnson had that little quote years ago that he's like the brightest one and he's just, a little flashlight or something. But I'm telling you, man, for people that actually watch football, those are the guys that they respect. Those are the ones that Jet fans respect. People like Wayne Chrebet, not people like Keyshawn Johnson who whine and complain their way out the door. Good for them that they got personal success. But Wayne just came out there. He worked hard. Whatever opportunities were given to him, he took them. And he's one of the most productive wide receivers in Jets history, and that's why.
Yeah, if you sit and talk with him, he'll tell you so many stories. He went to Hofstra. He was a walk-on. The coaches looked at him and said, "Is this the new water boy?" They had no idea who he was, and he proved himself, from day one. And having suffered on record 12 concussions, who knows how many more he had. But, literally his last game in the NFL, 2006, he was retired by his doctors before he left the field. And he just was amazing. Like you said, he caught the ball. He never had gloves on. The guy never had gloves on. And he just was phenomenal, what he did. Like you said, he didn't have the speed that Berrios has, Garrett Wilson. But he was amazing with his catches. If you see highlight reels, the catches he's made, incredible. And yeah, he's just a phenomenon.
Yeah, I remember that game when he got hurt, actually. I just remember just the look on his face, but he still had the ball. It's unbelievable, how the NFL has changed and what it's become. And it's become a spread out, wide open type of thing. They want the ball to move, but it's still, for some reason, even with all of this, at least for the New York Jets, always comes down to running the football and playing defense. That's what just winds up happening no matter who we draft, no matter who we bring in. It always comes back to running the ball. Losing Breece Hall, Kevin, losing pretty much everyone on the offensive line. I mean, what could you say, Kevin, about just how Joe Douglas has responded as a GM for this team and where he ranks in our franchise? I know he doesn't have the playoffs, but he's putting together a nice squad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still early, obviously. Just like you said, I think he's built the roster the right way, kind of from the ground up, and I don't think he's done. And I even said that like before the season, we had all these injuries. I think he'll continue to invest high draft picks in the offensive line, and I think he's kept kind of depth, right, where we can literally sit in Elijah Moore and still have Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, Berrios, Mims, like Jeff Smith. So, and running back goes down, and he kind of keeps the pulse of the market, which I've also been really impressed with. His ability to Dwayne Brown was in like 2 days before Becton went down. He was able to pull the trigger, making this trade for Robinson almost immediately. After the injury happened, you saw him bring in Lionel Joseph. So he's always got a couple like things going on the back burner that he can pull the trigger or pull a ripcord when we need to keep the depth. So I think it's been very smart. I think how he's drafted to build the team the right way with the right culture. I think one of the things that he has talked about is that, anytime Salah said it right after the injuries, where, while the team is sorry for the guy, like nobody believes like Michael Carter can't do it, right?
Right.
Good luck going in there and telling one of these guys they can't do it, right? So you don't want to have injuries. But, Jermaine Johnson went down and Bryce Huff came up and it was like no loss, right? And you feel comfortable with Clemens if he had to play. You feel comfortable with Josh Martin. We got Lawson back. So you see how he's kind of same thing with the D-line with Rankins and Solomon Thomas and Quinnen. And literally he just keeps throwing. And Franklin Myers goes inside, outside. So he's built depth where if a guy goes down, the next guy plugs and plays and there's a little drop-off. So with Breece, you drafted a superstar. Sauce, we got superstar. AVT, superstar. So you can't replace a superstar. That Keyshawn quote was, I'm the star and he's a flashlight. I'm not saying James Robinson is going to be Breece Hall. Breece Hall was like Curtis Martin, except a gear faster, right? Like
Right.
Breece Hall is maybe the best running back I've ever seen as a Jet, right? And I'm not putting down Curtis. I'm saying he can do everything Curtis does, plus a gear, like Marshall Faulk breakaway speed. It was like amazing. But James Robinson coming in and making that move that you're seeing across, our producer is great, other than his football takes. He's not even going to come up microphone and say anything. But getting James Robinson, to me, he's not Breece, just like, Curtis and Breece aren't the same. But it's like, how Thomas Jones is that next gear, like down from those guys, right? Like I wouldn't put Thomas Jones like Curtis Martin.
No.
But he's that, like James Robinson is a guy that's averaging 4.5 yards per career with nothing in Jacksonville, right? He's averaging 4.5 with nothing. He didn't have a Garrett Wilson on his roster. He didn't have an Elijah Moore on his roster. He didn't have a Michael Carter on his roster. And he was still giving you 4.5 a carry. This is insane. That's insane. So I think getting him at 24 years old for the price that we paid, a 6th-round pick, he's going to be a restricted free agent after the season, which means we can keep his rights for one more year. So even when we get Breece Hall back, we can keep Carter and Robinson. Yeah. And that you got that now, you'll have that same depth at running back where you don't even care who's in the game.
Right.
Carter, Hall, Robinson, you're like, they can all play, just like defensive end is right now. just like defensive tackle. They can all play. And the one thing I want to hit a comment before I give it back to you. One of the questions in the comments a little while ago earlier in the show was we do have to re-sign Quinn Williams. That's going to be a big thing. The sooner you pay him, the better, because the price tag is going up on that man every single day.
Right.
And the market goes up on the cost of players every time one signs. So you want to be next in line because the next guy is going to get more and the next guy more. So the Jets should sign Quinnen as soon as possible. But flipping on the other pieces that we will have to re-sign in the offseason, Jets fans, Quan Alexander and Quincy Williams. You got some tough choices to make. Do you keep both of them? Because those are going to be $1 million a year guys, if not 10 to 15, because they're both 27 and 28. They're right in that age.
It's a maybe on that. I think
but you still gotta re-sign them, right? Or let them go because they're gonna be.
I think you could get both. I think you can get both because I think you can have a situation that you had similar to Braxton Berrios in the sense where you might think that he gets more than he can. Then when you look at it, you're like, man, the Jets are going to play me a lot, and I'm going to be featured here, and I'm still going to get paid. I think if the good vibes continue, I think if the Jets play well, Alexander knows the system. You know what's the point?
Coaches.
Knows the coaches. It's an easier transition where he can feel like he can be himself. Quincy, he's with his brother, and I know that means something to him, to both of them. I think they take care of both the brothers. I think Quan Alexander comes back. The key for Quan Alexander, and it's always going to be this way for the time that he stays in the NFL, is his health. He has to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, he'll be fine. And as far as James Robinson, I mean, when you look at James Robinson, I've been following him for years. He is a really good running back. I am very surprised that the Jaguars got rid of him, considering Etienne hasn't been the healthiest back. I know they have Hasty, and I know Hasty could break him off here and there, but he's not like James Robinson. James Robinson can run the ball. You could give him 20-plus carries a game if you needed to. He could catch the ball out of the backfield as well. Very good. This was an excellent move by Joe Douglas. Even for a rental, it doesn't mean anything to him for that. And again, you do have the rights to him. And if you keep all three, it just makes you more dynamic. So once again, Joe Douglas fleeced the market. I can't believe we got James Robinson for a 6th round and a conditional. It could be a 5th. I'll take any 5th round pick right now for a healthy James Robinson any day on this roster. You don't know how Breece Hall is going to recover. He did more damage than what you thought to his knee, and it might take a while. At least you don't have to rush him back either, and he doesn't have to rush back. But with that being said, Liz,
wait. When was the last time? I need you both to think of this, where you got to hear a new player come to the Jets, and he was talking about leaving a losing organization to join the Jets. Like how happy he was to leave. They're the losing organization.
Right.
And I'm so happy to get to the Jets, which is the opposite of where I was. It's been a long time since our fans have heard a player come to a podium and he was like, I just went from 2-5 to 5-2 in 24 hours. Like,
what kind of chip is he going to have on his shoulder, man, to prove his worth and to show Jacksonville you have no clue what you're doing in that organization? You know? But Liz, before we let you go, I have to get your take on this coming Patriots game, how you think it'll play out. I know the Pats are struggling with their quarterback mix-up.
Right.
But what do you got for this game in scores and predictions?
I definitely think we're going to beat them by 10. I don't care what Vegas has to say. 1.5. Give me a break. So it's 3 since we're home. But yeah, I just think that we're going to roll right over them, just like we have the last 4 teams. And I don't want to hear the thing about, oh, well, we're better away team than at home. That's all going to change. And I think Zach learned a few things from last week. I think Robinson is going to be good to go because he's got something to prove. Corey Davis is going to be back. He's day-to-day, but I think he was at practice today, they said, and Fant also.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think all our guys are going to be good to go, and, you know, we're going to miss Breece. We're going to miss Elijah Vera Tucker, but our guys fill in those gaps, and they're going to be home. They're going to be pumped after just winning. We're 5-2. This is the
Yep.
Jets, and it's so exciting. I definitely think we're taking them by at least 10.
Absolutely. What a prediction. I hope you live up to it. Please, if you can, if you have time, please stop by D7. Come say hi so I give you a big hug. We could talk some Jets football and you watch me absolutely dominate on the cornhole board out there. Because let me tell everybody something who's watching right now. I'm challenging you all to come out and just get whooped up on the board. I'm telling you, don't run. D7, I'll be there. Check the beard out. Don't be shy. Tell him, Liz. Tell him on the pages. Don't let him know. I'm throwing him out there. I'm the big dog right now in the lot until someone tells me otherwise. So send him on the way. Me and Lord take care of him.
Okay, I will absolutely be there. You can count on it. I'll be there. D7.
Thank you, Liz, so much. And stay tuned with us, guys. We're still going to talk a little bit more about this New York Jets team. Listen, James Robinson, he averages, if you just look at this, he's averaging 49 receptions and 31 receptions in his first 2 years, almost 400 yards receiving in his first year. I mean, honestly, you can't beat that. As a Jets fan, you absolutely can't. It's amazing what they've been able to get here for a 6th-round pick. I think his running style is a lot different. So it's not going to be a Breece Hall where he's going to have one cut and then all of a sudden bursts through a hole and drags people. It's not going to be like that. James is a little bit more shifty, but when he gets that gear going, he's fast as well. He catch the ball out of the backfield. Just an absolutely excellent running back. For me going into this game, Kevin, honestly, I think the Jets should be able to win this game pretty handily. The Patriots are struggling with their quarterbacks. Mac Jones is struggling to see out there. They don't have a lot of weapons. They do not match up to the Jets with their individual talent, even with how it is right now. Mac Jones is a controllable quarterback. Who's the other guy that they have? What's his name?
What's his name? Zappy or something?
Zapper. Yeah, I watched him play. He had one nice pass, and after that, more Skylar Thompson kind of stuff. More Kenny Pickett type of stuff. This is what we're dealing with here. The Jets can't take this team lightly. This is a team that's mopped the floor with us for 20 years practically now. I don't want to see them take it easy. I don't want to see them just score a couple points and make it close at the end of the game and pull away. I want to see an absolute nightmare. It is Halloween. I want to see this defense. I want payback. I want payback for all the Tom Brady stuff. I want payback for the seeing ghosts, Darnold, and all this stuff. I want payback because he left a note on the table saying that he's leaving and he's not going to be part of the New York Jets organization. That is how bad I want the Jets to beat the Pats this Sunday. I want them to completely eliminate that that the Patriots were even a Super Bowl team at any point in time. I want them to make people think who've never watched football before, like, wow, this team is so bad. When's the last time they were good? That is how bad I want the Jets to stomp on the Patriots. And if this is a prove it game for me, this is a division rival. This is a team that has had your number for so long. The Jets are more talented. They're more prepared for this type of game coming back home after the teams that they beat on the road in the stadiums that they have won in, that they have not won in such a long time. The confidence level of this team is going to be through the roof. I please beg you, all Jet fans, get a cheap ticket, come to the Food Bowl Lounge and hang out with us if you must. But please get in the stadium. We don't want these Patriots coming in here and taking over. I want to see Sea of Green. I want to see all Jet fans there for what's about to happen, because Zach Wilson, okay, he's going to have to step it up, and this is the game. This is the game for me. This is Zach Wilson's official opening day to his second season. He has now played a full season's worth of football games, not obviously all together in one full season, but he's had this time. This is the time for him to break out. Elijah Moore's coming back. Davis is healthy, ready to go. Got Wilson, got the tight ends. James Robinson's going to play. Yeah, the system's a little bit different. The terminology's a little bit different. But listen, you tell guys what gap to run in. You block for them. They're going to run. Okay? He's a professional. He knows what to do. All right? Michael Carter's still back there. Zach Wilson, this might be the easiest game he's played in the last few weeks defensively, even with Bill Belichick. I think he has an opportunity to really go out there and establish himself as a Jets quarterback. I don't need to see 350 with 4 touchdowns or any nonsense like that, but I want to see this guy throw some accurate footballs, have that clock sped up just a little bit more inside the pocket, and be a little bit more put together and accurate when you're outside of the pocket, because that was the thing, the special thing that we saw from him, and I'm pretty sure that Joe Douglas and company saw from him is the reason why they picked him with the number 2 slot, is for him to do those things on the run and be able to move on the run. And honestly, use your legs a little bit more. It's that type of an NFL. There's many times where there's nothing back there and you could see that he's scanning. Just go ahead and take those extra free yards. He's more than capable of doing it. And I think it's something that the coaches need to push for sure. Me, in my personal opinion, I think the Jets are climbing. They're changing culture. And this is a prove it game, and I think they're going to show up. I think the Jets are going to win 27-17. It's just 10-point game. I think the Jets win by 10. I think Zach Wilson plays a lot better of a football game, a lot cleaner of a football game. I think James Robinson and Carter, they're going to show Jet fans you could breathe a little bit. We could still get this going. I think Sauce is going to have a pick in this game. I'm going to give Joyner a pick in this game just because he's been showing up, making big plays, just kind of showing up around turnovers, which is what I like to see back there. So I'm going to give him another pick. Quinnen Williams is definitely getting a sack in this game. I think that you could see 2 quarterbacks from the Patriots in this game out of desperation, just like you saw the Patriots do against the Bears. I think there's a good game plan. I think the way the Bears played the Patriots is a good way to play this current team. You have an athletic quarterback. Take advantage. When nothing is there, take off and get those extra yards. There's nothing wrong with playing that type of a football game, and that's what I would tell Zach Wilson. Make them creep up so you could take advantage of your one-on-one matchups. You know Bill is going to try to make him make a mistake and let him beat himself. Be smart, and that's what Zach Wilson has been doing, Kevin.
Sorry, I had to come off mute there. I think this is a game that Zach does have to be much, much better. The last game that we just saw him play against Denver was his worst game of the season. I do think there was a lot of free rushers last week. But at the same time, there was a play to Azuma over the middle in the fourth quarter. If he hits that play, he's still running, right? So he missed some layups for sure. He's got to do number 2 pick things. But Jets fans, that Bears team that just beat them had 179 yards passing. Their pass defense is better than ours. Right now, their 2 cover corners are playing at the same level as ours, if you believe PFF. So the Jets got to be smart with their game plan. I still, just like Mr. Smith said, I think you're not looking for 350 from him.
Nope.
You're looking to keep the defense honest, 210, like 225, maybe 250. Aaron Rodgers did squeak out 250 against this defense. Lamar Jackson couldn't. Lamar Jackson had 210 yards against the D. So I want you to be realistic about this, right? Yes, the Patriots have been bad. They're still 3-4, so they beat some teams. And their D-line, Judon, and what's that guy, Weish, the guy who plays on the opposite side of him, the defensive end. They have 13.5 sacks, guys. and Dwayne Brown had his lunch eaten. Dwayne Brown was the guy giving up the
Yeah,
free.
he had his worst
the free
game
lunch.
too.
Yeah, he had 3 penalties. He had 3 penalties on him, which we'll get to the penalties in a second because the Jets got to get their act together, right? They lead the league in penalty yards right now. So even though we're 5-2, we're the most. We don't have the most penalty total. We have the most penalty yards total. So the Jets got to get better at that because that's the stuff that beats yourself, right? You make a big play and have it come off. Like those are crushing. So I would say the offense needs to be a good mix. I wouldn't be surprised if it's conservative. And I only say conservative because, man, they're 2 pass rushers. They don't need to blitz. And you're going to see a lot of 7 guys in coverage. They're going to drop the linebackers back. They're going to drop into a cloud coverage and have 5.
Yes.
I think their 4 guys can beat 5. Judon has 8.5 sacks in 6 games, guys. So they're looking at Dwayne Brown and who knows at right tackle, and Matt Judon is on the field. Like, they're not worried about the Jets have anybody to block him. And on paper, we don't. They're going to need help. So they don't have to blitz, put all their linebackers in coverage. And the Jets fans are like, well, we'll run it, right? Like, Bill Belichick's not a fool, guys. It's just going to be a lot of take what the defense gives you. Don't get too cute. Don't take shots for the sake of shots. Take calculated shots. Dude, they're going to have safeties back. They're going to have guys back there, and they're going to have another wall of people in front of those guys. So a lot of times it's going to be Zach Wilson looking at 4 guys to throw to and 7 guys in coverage.
Check down.
Smart. Be smart. A lot of check down, a lot of tight ends, a lot of slants, a lot of those screens. And, will we run it on 3rd and 5? Will we run it on 3rd and 4? And Bill Belichick is going to make us, which is why, going back to what you said earlier, Zach's got to run because they're all in zone coverages doing handoffs and talking about who's covering what aspects of the zone. And that's when the quarterback takes off, right? Fields, 85 yards rushing. Lamar Jackson, 103 yards rushing. 7 of those, they got to convert the sticks themselves. And Zach Wilson, don't listen to the fans who are like, do this, do that, run out of bounds, blah, blah, blah. Like Josh Allen doesn't do, like Mahomes doesn't do, like Lamar Jackson doesn't do. No, play quarterback, get the first down, like every name I just said does. Justin Fields, I could go to this. Why is it okay for all those guys to run for first down? But don't do it, Zach Wilson, run out of bounds, 2 yards short of the 15 to get hurt. Our fans sound so dumb sometimes. It's hard for me to read. But anyways, he's going to run for first downs and have to convert them himself and keep the defense rested. And I agree with you. I expect Sauce to get a pick. They're just going to throw one of those stupid balls. Mac Jones is as arrogant as it comes with 5 touchdowns and 9 interceptions over the last 6 games. Like, he's going to throw one up to Sauce because he thinks he's in Sauce. And he's going to say, my wide receiver I traded for, the best offensive receiver we got, Parker. You saw that there was like 2 jump balls to him in that game against the Bears. And I was like, man, Sauce would get those. What is that? Those are horrible. The other thing Jets fans got to take advantage of, and this is what coaches are saying right now to the Jets players. Dude, this is Monday night, and they got to travel. They just played Monday. And they got to travel to New York and practice and get ready to prep for us in less than 6 days. Less than 6 days because they got a travel day. And they're switching quarterbacks again. So the Jets defense and the offensive line got to lean on them until we're going to be a second half team again.
Yes.
You're going to try to wear them down and just out-physical them for the first half, and it might be a close game. And in the second half, that's when that, 6 days of rest catches up to you versus 7. Is that second half when your legs haven't had that extra day to recoup, didn't have the extra time in the tub, the extra time in the trainers. All those little nicks and little injuries and bruises are 1 day less healed than they would normally be. And you think it's not a big deal, but NFL players are routine. That's what they do. They live a routine of how they eat, how they work out, how they prepare. And this is one of those weeks they have 1 less day to do their routine that helps them prepare for Sundays. And the Jets got to lean on them, be more physical them in their home field, and pull away in the second half. I would say 27-13. And this week, the Jets run D's got to show up. They got to make Mac Jones beat them, make them one-dimensional, and say, I dare Mac Jones and your receivers to beat our corners.
Absolutely. And they beat, they beat teams with being their running back, I think, Stevenson. Harris just came back. Stevenson, to me, he's been somewhat impressive, but I think the Jets can handle him. How the Jets keep this game close is by just running the football. The Bears had 234 yards rushing. By both their backs were running the ball well, and so was their quarterback. That's how you beat this team. That's how you neutralize that Judon rush. Judon's going to come and get Zach at least once in this game. That's what's going to happen. That's fine. But all the other times, I expect us to be running the ball, make it manageable, 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s for your quarterback instead of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. And Kevin's absolutely right. They're gonna try to make Zach make a mistake, and Zach just has to play how he's been playing, just hand the ball off. And that's why I think Joe also went out and got it back. You got the Patriots coming up, and then all of a sudden you run into the Bills. All of a sudden you lose both of those games, and you're putting all this pressure on your quarterback, and people start going, well, what's going on with this Jets team? They're 5-4 now. What's going on? I think this is a great opportunity for the Jets to get another win before they have to play Buffalo, and they could continue this ride. And he said the way to beat the Patriots is by running the football. So, again, you're not going to see Zach Wilson throw for 354 touchdowns unless everything's clicking and they just get completely exposed and can't handle the Jets. Now, listen, individually, the Jets have the talent to smash this team. But again, like we were talking about in the Green Bay game, that soft cover defense that Green Bay plays just dropping back. It is so important that the Jets offensive line hold up so that they can run the football. If the Jets can run the football, we're just going to pound this team, wind them down. They do not have the offensive weapons. The Patriots need to get field position off of our mistakes. The penalties, they have to stop. And obviously, we can't turn the ball over because they don't have the weapons. They really, really don't. So if the Jets start to pull out to a lead, it can start to get ugly for the Patriots. The Bears have been a mistake. They've just been messing up all season long, squandering opportunities. And they went out there, and in the second half, they really gave it to the Patriots. It's all fun and exciting when you put a Zappy in and he throws a touchdown, and you're like, here we go, Patriots. But when you really, really have to go out and play a team that you know is just more talented than you, Bill Belichick or not, you got to come out to play, and you can't make mistakes either. And you're on the road, and you're on short rest. And you're playing a team that's on a roll, and you're facing two good running backs, and they have a ton of weapons. So you don't want to give them one-on-one matchups. And a few guys have a chip on their shoulders, and you're playing on the road. Of course, James Robinson's suiting up. Are you kidding me? They wouldn't even make this trade if James Robinson wasn't suiting up immediately for this game. Yes, sir. James Robinson is definitely suiting up. You're going to see him touch the ball. I'm sure of that. That's why he was brought here. And it's just not out of disrespect to Michael Carter either. This is just simply, listen. And Michael Carter knows this because he did this in college. He split carries with Javonte Williams. This is not something that he's not aware of. But the Jets are stacking talent and insurance policies because in the playoffs, you need a good running game. Especially, we've seen this. We've seen this show before, guys. You run the ball, you play good defense, and you hope that your quarterback makes a couple plays along the way. This is not a mistake what Joe Douglas is doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. And if someone gets hurt, I expect him to make another move as well. God forbid one of these guys, James Robinson, Michael Carter, gets hurt. He's going to do the same. This guy is serious about this team. He sent a real life message to his team that they're coming out here to win this football game. So listen, guys, I'll be at the stadium. JR is going to be at the stadium. Come say hi if you see me. If you see me in the stands, wave me down. This is going to be an exciting game. Bring your costume. This is where we bury all of our memories of Tom Brady. This is where we kill the demons and we become the monsters. This is our opportunity to snuff this team out and welcome them to the world of trying to find a starting quarterback and starting over after a Hall of Famer retires. The Dolphins went through it for many, many years. The Bills went through it for many, many years. And I think the Patriots, they're on their way to discovering this wonderful world of finding a starting quarterback and an identity again. And I think the Jets could be the first team. The Jets welcomed them in, right, with the Bledsoe hit. And then Brady came in. We welcomed them in. I think we can get an opportunity to send them out, right? That would be some great karma. Welcome back to the real world. So listen, I appreciate all the support. You guys are amazing. Please tune in. Please read the articles. Please subscribe on our YouTube page. Once we get over 200 subscribes, we're going to start looking to give away a game if that's possible. Please at Guru Jets on Twitter. Check that out. And also Jets Guru on Instagram as well. Please check out Live Rounds, End Zone, all these wonderful pages that are out there where you guys can get Jets info, commentary that's different than ours, different things, different fans. It's just we're all together, man. We got to take all our positive energy and throw it at the Jets. Are we perfect? No. Are we still in our second year of a rebuild? Yes. Are things trending in a positive direction? Yes. Should you calm down and just enjoy the season for what it is right now? Yes. Should you come down to the cornhole tournament and play me? Yes. Will you lose? Yes. See, we're starting to get on a pattern here. All right. So I love you guys so much. Take care. It's been real. Thank you, JR. Give me your prediction before you cut us off, man.
Damn, yeah, I was actually hoping y'all was going to ask me that because
Again, dude.
well, I'm just saying I picked us to win going to the home opener, so I'm just going to play the opposite. I got us losing 17-14 in the close one, just because I never got good luck. So I'm hoping I'm wrong.
All right,
but
the reverse. I mean, listen,
yeah,
if it's 17-14,
that's why I'm playing the reverse. But
if it's 17-14, that means the Jets had a ton of penalties. That means they couldn't run the football. That means Zach Wilson, you basically saw him what he looked like in the Broncos game, and they're living off field goals and trying to scrap by and try to get a win. And I don't want to see that. There's no reason why we should have to do that. Follow what the Bears formula was, and that's your best chance of winning this football game, because the Patriots just do not have the weaponry to get back into a game if you just get a little bit of a lead. And the Jets have really good special teams, and I just really think we're going to put it on them. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you Sunday for the post game for the 5-game streak at the stadium. JETS, Jets. Daniel Smith from Jets Guru. Welcome to the show. All gas, no brakes. Let's go, Jets.
See you in Pittsburgh. Can't wait.
Let's make sure we play like the New York Jets.